Welcome back to the Milwaukee Show, and today we're talking about Mitch Marner. Is Mitch about to switch? That is the question today, as there has been a lot of rumors recently, especially about the top team on the board here, that Mitch Marner is on his way out of Toronto. And for me, I'm kind of conflicted on this, because I don't know if it's going to happen or not. I don't know if it should happen or not, because here's the thing about Mitch Marner. Is Mitch Marner one of the best players that has ever played the game of hockey? One of the most skilled, most talented, one of the funnest, highlight reels to watch? Is he not an incredible player? Abso-freaking-lutely, the guy is. Is he an amazing passer who can make some great plays, great playmaker? 100%, right? But does he also evaporate in the playoffs and has never really been that X-Factor kind of player for the Maple Leafs? No. And has he ever been the best player of the core four? No. And I don't know what to think of this anymore, because the Maple Leafs, this is his last year of his contract, right? He had 26 goals, 59 assists for 85 points this season in 69 games played. So if you add up the rest of that 13 games that he could have played, easily, in my head, he's going to get to 100 points. 15 points to make up in that in 13 games. I think he's going to get that job done. He's 85 points for 69. Think he's going to get there. And he's yet to do it after having a 99-point season last year and 97 points the year before that, which is also handicapped by 2 games and a couple games for the other one. So he's been that close, and he would have made it so many times. But Mitch Marner has not yet to do it yet. And it's an interesting case for him, because he's got $10.9 million left. This is the final year of his contract. The Maple Leafs have re-signed Austin Matthews. They have re-signed William Nylander to extensions. So clearly they are still heading in the win now direction. Not win now, but keep this team together, keep some pieces. But with the moving out of Sheldon Keefe, and now with Craig Berube of all coaches, to me this feels like this might be a true sign that yes, we're going to change. Because I really don't think you sit on Mitch Marner, someone this good, and let him walk. Because he can bring in so much for this team, and especially solve some of their issues that they have. So, to me, I think moving him out would be the smartest move, because running it back again with this same team, sure, I like Biz's argument where he says that, could you imagine, a Mitch in his contract year? Sure, but he's shown every year from the goofs that he's made in the playoffs, where he just throws the puck, aimlessly over the boards. If you've ever watched 2BC Productions, that channel, which is amazing, if you should watch the one year when it was the bubble year where Marner was just playing so bad against the Montreal Canadiens. His reaction to that is hilarious. But even this playoffs, he's been such a dope every game that he's playing out there. Mitch Marner, he's a bum in the playoffs, and I don't think it's truly all his fault. But I don't know. But I think this is the year that you move them out, right? The Maple Leafs, you can't run it back again. You can't just keep doing the same goddamn thing over and over again, and just changing the coach is going to change much. I don't believe so. So to me, Marner, you move them out. So who are the contenders for that? So first of all, everyone's talking about the Nashville Predators right now, and of course they should be. The Ryan McDonough traded him away. They've got $26 million in cap space. They've got plenty of room to bring a guy on like him and sign him to a contract. And Mitch Marner, he seems to be a guy that, his teammates he seems to be a guy, and Barry Trotz have shown that he's, trying to keep, a good environment for the team, some good players. And to me, I question if Mitch Marner is really that guy, but for a team like the Predators who really need a guy to help Philip Forsberg, to really create more offense for a team, I think Mitch Marner is that kind of dynamic player that he can really add to the squad and put a lot of oomph in their step, especially for some of their younger guys in the lineup, right? So to me, I think the Predators are a good option, especially since the Maple Leafs need to get stuff out of this deal too, right? And for them, they've got UC Saros they could send their way, or if they're not looking for a goaltender right now, they got Askarov at the Admirals right now. They have some good contenders at the they can send their way for goaltending options, right? Or defense. They've got some good defensemen back there, right? Yossi obviously isn't going to get on the move, but I'm sure they can make something move. But there's a lot of good what the hell am I saying? There's a lot of good options and assets that they could send their way. Good draft picks, good prospects, good current players. Like, if the Maple Leafs really wanted to just, like, kind of load up their team with, like, Marner and push him away and bring in, like, a guy like O'Reilly who plays really good for them, and bring in a guy like O'Reilly and Evangelista, something like that, like, put in, like, a couple of good assets, like, I think that would be an interesting move. But really, the biggest thing is goaltending and defense, and for me, Saros is right there on the market. Like, it feels like that could be a match that just is perfectly made for each other. However, like, Saros for Marner is a bad trade for the Maple Leafs. As much as that fills a need that they need, like, Marner is a way more impactful player, especially during the regular season, than Saros is. And to me, I think there would definitely be more to the trade. But Predators, a good option. I feel like they could definitely make it work. For most people, they talk about the Capitals and the Penguins as well. The Penguins, because of Crosby, Kyle Dubas is there. Kind of makes sense. The Capitals make the trade to have, like, Marner and Ovechkin. Just kind of be a good pairing to get Ovechkin over the line, which I think would be a very good move for the Capitals. The issue for me is I don't know how, like, I don't see any of that happening. Like, what trade is going to happen? What are the Penguins? What are the Pittsburgh Penguins possess to send back to the Toronto Maple Leafs in return for Marner? I have no idea. They don't have, like, any good, like, players to really send their way. And they don't really have the best of, like, prospects, right? Like, they have Braden Yeager, who's their, like, I would say is their best prospect at this point. Or maybe, I mean, they have a couple other guys, but, like, at the end of the day, no one who's really going to add up to a good trade with Marner. And they also don't have the most cap space in the world, especially for what they're, I don't know. To me, I just don't see a trade like that happening. And then for the Washington Capitals, same thing, right? They can send, like, their first round picks, right? Like, 2 first round picks and, like, Dylan Strome or someone, or like a Mick Michael and another, like, Lapierre or something like that. And same thing for the Penguins, like 2 first round picks and someone, but at the same time, first round picks, the Maple Leafs are trying to win. And by getting rid of that contract, sure, they could bring in a guy like Steven Stamkos, I'm sure. I'm sure they could make that happen, right? I'm sure they could bring in some other free agent, right? With that kind of cap space, especially a guy like Steven Stamkos would be huge for this team to add another true legitimate goal scorer in the playoffs who plays his heart out. Stamkos on another blue and white team would make sense to me, and I think that could be a nice match in heaven. But to me, the Maple Leafs are not looking for 2 first-round picks, right? That's not what they're looking for. They're looking to win now in the next 5 years, you know? Their window is now and for, like, the next half decade. They get 2 first-round picks. They draft them this year, right? They get the next pick next year. They're not going to be able to use those guys like true NHL, like, potential for, like, another 2-3 years out, right? And by then, who knows what this team looks like? Who knows what the world looks like by then, right? So, to me, I don't see these 2 teams really making that big of a trade happening. The Blackhawks is another big one that people are talking about. And to me, it's the same deal. Where, like, sure, Marner and Bedard, huge, that would be huge for Bedard's, like, potential. Have Bedard with, like, Marner and Taylor Hall, that'd be a very good lineup, but for me, it's like Taylor Hall would be the guy that goes back to the Toronto Maple Leafs, right? A former Hart winner and, like, a good depth piece for this team, I think would be huge for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and, but him plus, like, maybe one of those back guys in the one of those defensemen like Korchinski, probably not Korchinski, but like Alex Vlasic, like one of those, like Vlasic is huge. Like, if you get like Vlasic back there, but he's not truly like a great defenseman yet to really help a team win a Stanley Cup. So to me, it's like they don't have the goaltending. They have they have a ton of good prospects that could send to any team, but to me, it's like they would have to send so many draft picks. Like, they have such a good pool of picks, and I don't think they want to drain that pool. And I just don't think that's going to happen. I think it would be huge, but I don't know. The Anaheim Ducks is another one where I do see, like, the interest aligning, where Marner going over to Zegras, going over to Carlson, going over to Troy Terry, McTavish, really ump up that top 6 that is going to start looking incredible soon with the already amazing play, and giving Marner that platform to be the number 1 guy. And especially he plays like Anaheim and California, feels perfectly like to fit with him, like the Zegras, like he fits in with those kind of boys, right? I feel like he really does like fit in with that group. and really fits like that team's like identity. So I wouldn't be surprised by that. And then of course for the Maple Leafs interest, Gibson probably on the move that would really make sense. Not too much of a cap hit either. Gibson going back, and they have a bunch of guys. Like, they could give up one of their, like, good defensemen that they have back there. Probably not, like, Zellweger or Minchikov, but if that's what it takes, I'm sure, like, Marner might be worth kind of that trade for their amazing top six that they're building. So, to me, the Anaheim Ducks also make sense, where that's a trade that you can see both ways sending something back. But then for the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, I put them on the board, and you might have already read this by now, but this team seems to make any trade happen. I can't believe that they can keep doing this over and over again. So if the Vegas Golden Knights want to do something, they can do it. But with their current acquisitions of like Hurdle and Hanifin, they have like literally no cap space. I don't know how they would make it happen, but this team seems to just make anything happen. So I would not doubt if the Vegas Golden Knights can do that. And then to me, the Seattle Kraken are probably the last team on that board. Like I have all like the magnets over here all the time. And to me, like, looking at it, like, a team like the Blues, like, can they make it happen? I don't know. Like, a Senators, like, I don't really think I don't think they would trade Mitch Marner to their Ontario rival. Like, I just don't see, like, the Buffalo Sabres are interesting, but I don't really know what they would send back that way, especially since they've been loading up that defense so much, and that's kind of what the Maple Leafs need. So I don't see any of those happening. For me, the Kraken, there's so many multitude of trades that could happen with a guy like Mitch Marner, but the Kraken is another team where I see like they have like a ton of NHL quality young players, like a guy like Shane Wright. And that can really, like, Marner's not old, right? Like, they can use him for quite a while. So if they give up, like, a guy like Shane Wright and, like, Chalet or someone like that, to the Toronto Maple Leafs, and, like, in return, like, get Marner would be huge, but I don't know. I don't really see that happening either. Like, to me, Mitch Marner on the move is going to be huge for the Maple Leafs. If that would be such a smart move, and especially if they bring in that goaltender, right? If they can get out Mitch Marner and get a Gibson or Saros out of it, or even an Ullmark, which is not going to happen because there's no way that they can get Ullmark from the Bruins. But if they can move out Mitch Marner and get Gibson and really, like, at least make the fans happy with, like, a good goaltender that can give him a chance to win, especially a guy like Gibson who's never had that opportunity, to give him that chance to thrive in a winning environment, give him that platform, and then open up some cap space so they can keep a guy like Max Domi, keep a guy like Bertuzzi, maybe try to go out for a guy like Steven Stamkos onto this team, which is what they really need. I don't know. I'm going to be making a video all about the Maple Leafs soon, and I'll be talking all about that and what they should be doing. But for Mitch Marner specifically, those are the places that I feel like could use him the most. But, I mean, I don't know. Like, I could literally go over here and be like, yeah, this team, Ottawa Senators, like, they definitely have some good defenseman prospects that they could send their way. Goaltending-wise, not really. Offense, what are they going to give up? Like, Brady Tkachuk for him? Like, that would be an interesting, switch, but I don't know. Even this, like, I can just go through each freaking team. You know, the Buffalo Sabres definitely have, like, they have some great prospects they could send back their way. I'm sure they could definitely give up, like, a Benson and someone for Mitch Marner. Like, that, I think that would be definitely a fair trade, you know, something like that. Like, I could just keep going through each of these teams. Like, the New York Islanders was definitely a team I thought about putting on this board, but they never make moves, so probably not going to happen. The Minnesota Wild is not going to do it because they have no cap space. That's impossible. Like, the Philadelphia Flyers also have no cap space, but to get a guy like Matvei Michkov, that kind of caliber of player, I know this is kind of just going off the rails, but I'm kind of having fun now. The Winnipeg Jets, could you imagine if they got him on this team? No. Anyways, I guess that's all I gotta say. So, if you made it through this fiasco, thank you for watching this. If you made it this far, please, I'm begging you, please subscribe. Please. Anyways, thank you for watching this. Too sweet. Have an amazing day, and ta-ta for now.